Alright. Are you ready, Mr. Frank?
Yes.
Alright, here we are again with the Completely Inappropriate Podcast, everybody. I'm Tony along Mr.
Frank.
Mr. Frank is in the building through this COVID-19 outbreak that we are having across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about traveling now? We are open in Texas.
Yeah, we're phasing out, so
Soft rollout.
Yeah, I'm like, does this mean, like, is every phase a week's worth, or is it fucking, are we playing each phase by ear?
Probably by ear, depends on if we see any kind of kickback from the, if we see a resurgence of COVID-19 outbreak with the first week, we'll probably shut down again.
Yeah, that was one of the concerns, that, is it too soon? I'm pretty sure it is too soon, but then again, you got governors like the one in fucking Georgia.
Well, I don't want to get too deep into COVID-19, but what I do want to talk about is, what did I write down? Hey, have you heard of Agenda? Now, you know what? We're going to hold on to that too. Anyway, so how do you feel about the soft rollout?
That's what I was telling you. That I'm like, is it too soon? I'm like, it probably is too soon.
Then why aren't you wearing a mask here?
No, because I have it in my car.
We're not even 6 feet apart.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. We're literally like 3 feet apart here.
Yeah, but remember I shrunk during the quarantine.
That doesn't change the distance between us, you dumb fuck. So how have you felt about our guests lately? How'd you like Jasmine and who was there? But Jerry and Tim. We've had a good litany of people lately through this COVID-19 outbreak. I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's just going to be me and you on Skype with audio problems and all this bullshit. But I don't think they were coming out too bad. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was great. I'm like, how the fuck did we pull it off? I don't know, but we pulled it off.
Yeah, and I'm listening to other podcasts throughout the week while I'm at work, and they're all doing the same thing. Everybody's on Skype right now.
Yeah.
Some people are doing Zoom. I didn't particularly like Zoom.
Well, Zoom, I'm pretty sure Zoom is better quality because fucking.
I don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is the ones that I've listened to using Zoom recordings, I feel like they suffered a little bit audio quality in comparison to those using Skype.
Yeah.
As long as you're patient speaking with each other and not talking over each other, not cutting each other off, it comes out pretty clear. But anyway, enough with the technical aspect of the pod. Jasmine, oh, did you get the pins? Where are the pins?
Shit.
You didn't bring the pins.
I forgot the pins.
We can't even show the people our delicious pins. I'm so disappointed in you.
Well, I posted a picture. No,
I know, but why'd you post a picture of them in the bags? Like, take one out, you dumb fuck.
No, those were different. No. Yeah, those are different pins.
No, what do you mean they're different pins?
No, because I bought pins from fucking Jasmine.
No, you showed us a square pin.
I showed you the square pin.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't post it?
I didn't post it.
Yeah, you did. Could have swore. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Yeah, I did. I was giving her thanks.
Yeah,
I did. Okay.
Yeah, then she said, yeah, you got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, those pictures, I'm sure don't do them justice, but I wouldn't know because your dumbass didn't bring them to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadness, despair, what have you not? What have you done? So, I wanted to talk to you about cults.
Okay.
Jonestown. What are other ones? Manson house, the family, the Manson family. That was definitely a cult, right?
Yeah.
Would you consider the Mansons a cult?
Yeah.
Or is it just like a murderous commune? Oh yeah, a cult. Well, what's the difference? What's the difference between a commune and a cult?
I want to say with a commune, even the leader goes out on a killing spree. But
so the point being that I feel like in a commune, an actual commune, there should be no leader, right? It's a 100% socialist society where everybody maintains the same level of dignity and respect and blah 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 blah. A utopia of sorts that can never be accomplished, in my opinion, because why? We are human, and humans like to be in charge.
They also like to be different.
There's always going to be somebody that needs to be the special one, right?
Yeah.
So, that being said, I think we should start a cult. I mean, a commune. A commune. No, so the reason I'm bringing up Jonestown is because you posted that meme, I think during your Tim?
Yeah.
Is that?
Voting the Tim episode.
Yeah, talking about the Jonestown massacre with the Kool-Aid, and I had to shout out to those conspiracy guys because they mentioned that Flavor Aid was actually the culprit used. I think during the episode that I listened to, they did say that both were found on the scene. But did you notice when they tagged us back? It was Flavor Aid, Flavour.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, it's so European. Like, boy, we would spell it Flavor Aid, okay? It's either Flav or Aid. It's not Flavor Aid.
Yeah.
That was stupid. That was sorry. I don't know why I tried to explain
No, because you
that.
tried enunciating the OU.
Yeah, I was trying to enunciate the difference there, but it all sounds retarded. The human languages are all just equally bamboozled. So, what was your favorite cult or massacre? Come on, I mean, I know that sounds like a fucking question, but you know what I mean. What was your favorite one to hear about? Because everybody's fascinated with Jonestown, or we wouldn't still be talking about it today. Everybody's fascinated with the fact that it was a group of Americans that went into this middle of Timbuktu. Where the fuck were they? Do you remember? Africa? No? Where the fuck was Jonestown? Let's Google that real
In
quick.
Jonestown, maybe?
No. It was the...
Why is it called Jonestown then?
Where was the Jonestown massacre? Well, not massacre, right? Yeah. Guyana,
Okay.
in Colombia. Yeah, Jonestown, location of the mass murder-suicide of members of the California-based People's Temple cult at the behest of their charismatic but paranoid leader, Jim Jones. In Jonestown. Oh yeah, that's why it was called Jonestown, stupid. Because his name was Jones. But they moved to Guyana to build the thing there, because you can't get away with that shit here. You know what happens when you do that shit here? You have Waco.
Yeah.
Our own personal fucking commune cult that we had here in Texas.
Yep.
So what do you remember about Waco? Everybody knows about Jonestown. What do you remember about Waco?
I remember a big ass tank in a wooden house. That's it.
I don't remember I thought it was a warehouse. Weren't they were in this big giant building,
Yeah.
and they refused to come out, and the government just decided to go in and just fucking blow everybody up. Like, they just shot up everybody in there, right?
Yeah, that's ATF for you. Go
Yeah.
shoot your dog.
And for those of you who are fans of Tiger King, he shouts him out saying, they want to come in and take my tigers. I tell you what, it's going to be bigger than Waco up in here. Like, holy shit, that dude is batshit methed out crazy.
Yeah.
How about those gay guys? So
They weren't gay.
So they weren't gay, right?
Yeah.
So have you heard this theory about what was it? Drug-induced homosexuality?
The theory?
Yeah.
There's a theory? I thought it was fucking...
Fact?
Well, not fact, but like at least not proven method either. But you know, I thought it came with the territory. Like, you know, you have an addiction.
Well, what is
and
MK
whatever.
Ultra, right? What is the CIA's method of getting people to do what they want? You string them, you give them what they're addicted to, a little bit at a time, so they depend on you to supply it. So these guys are just fucking gay for pay, pretty much. And I can't say I don't understand that myself. I was in a situation where I grew up with a bunch of gay guys. They all had a bunch of coke and weed around all the time. I wasn't doing coke yet at the time. I just realized that wasn't until later. But for the weed, man, I just hung out with a bunch of gay guys. I'd let them fucking flirt with me, and I'd flirt back just because, like, yeah, just roll another joint, dude. Yeah, you're cute. Roll another joint now. So I understand the concept.
Yeah.
I flirted with it a little bit, but to go all out and say, because what does he tell the guys? Like, so when you watch porn, do you like to search for the big cocks going to the girls or the little cocks going to the girls? Like, well, the big cocks. You ain't that straight then, is you? Like, oh, bullshit, man. I'll tell you what, I like when the lesbians are going at it, I like them to peg with the bigger dildos and the smaller dildos.
Oh, I thought you were
that
gonna bring up the fucking tranny porn you like to watch.
Hey, I told you that in confidence.
Didn't you mention it in the fucking pod?
I said well, again though, it's not really trend. I didn't say that I watch it. I just appreciate that.
Oh, okay.
Rather, like, if you're gonna compare like straight heterosexual porn to tranny on female porn, why wouldn't you? It was my argument. I didn't say like I'm actively fucking beating off to tranny porn. Not that I'm opposed to it. There's nothing wrong with that either. It's just your kink is not my kink.
Okay.
I just like to flirt with these ideas a lot of the time. But again, But the point being, if you're gonna watch a dick go into a vagina, why not at least have an extra set of tits in the room? You know what I mean? Why not? It's just a personal preference if you have it. Jesus, what was what you fucking threw me off with that?
Because you were easing into how fucking the Tiger King's method of fucking bringing up fucking straight people.
Well, now, and so the reason I wanted to bring in Tiger King to this conversation of cults is because it's what's happening now. And what people don't understand is all of these tiger fucking, what are they called? The sanctuaries that they've got going on? Whether it was PETA or it was the PETA chick, Carol Baskin, right? Wasn't she PETA or something?
No, she just.
Or she was her own sanctuary thing. No, she worked with PETA too, because she was going after several other people in the post interview
to go after her fucking competition. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
So she wasn't actually an active member of PETA. She was just like an informant.
She made herself seem like holier than thou.
Of course. Yeah. Well, then you have. So my point is, you've got not Carol. We'll ignore Carol Baskins. We'll get back to her.
That bitch.
That bitch. So. That's so rude. The chick just was like doing her job. Everybody thinks she killed her husband. I legit think the husband left her. Like, why wouldn't he just he ditched the car at the airplane place where he rarely registered that he was leaving anyway. Like, so he hired somebody to fucking finally leave his crazy ass tiger fucking raising ex-wife. That's what I would have left her ass. Fucking crazy, dude.
So you say he arrived in Costa Rica and changed his identity.
Yeah.
And maybe had plastic surgery on his face.
Or, well, I'm not. Why would he have to do all that?
Because somebody might recognize him.
Who gives a shit? Nobody's gonna recognize him. They didn't even show his picture on there, did they? Like more than one, two times? Nah, no one cares. That dude probably got more money than God. He took half that tiger money from her. I'm sure of it. He had his own plane. I'm telling you, like it would have been fun. That dude's well off. I want to get back to the cults at hand. So we've got drug-induced homosexuality cults. Hands down, man. Everybody there is getting paid in fucking weed or coke. They're all fucking doing after parties. That one chick with the arm bit off, you know that chick didn't give a shit because she's there every day after feeding those tigers, getting wasted with the rest of them. Like, it's a commune of drug users. They all look like cracked out meth heads. Like, at least at one point or another, which means that at the current situation, once an addict, always an addict. If you're surrounding yourself with other addicts, you're a former addict, you're gonna find something else to throw yourself at, whether it's alcohol, cocaine, meth. You're gonna jump from one to the other. You know?
Yeah, and that's what made him look like a good person, because he would see somebody out in the street homeless,
bring him in,
and then it's like, hey, want some meth?
Well, basically what he was doing was a regulation system for their drug use. So they were still productive in the place, but he basically paid them in the right amount of drugs so that they were still available to do the job that they needed to do throughout the day. Isn't that fucking... It's MK Ultra fucking CIA manipulation kind of shit. Like, it's really, really good. Like, how would you keep your informants around? You don't fucking bust them for carrying around coke every time you fucking pull them over, right? You're like, hey, I'm gonna take this, get the fuck out of here. Like, oh, come on, man, I need that. Hey, you're lucky I'm not taking you in. Now go find out go buy some more and tell me where they're getting it from. You know, that's how it works. So I think that's why that chick was like, nah, I wasn't that mad about my arm getting bit off. I was back at work 7 days later. I was like, what the fuck?
Because she wouldn't be able to afford reconstruction surgery because the guy was paying her $100 a week.
Yeah, no, there was he probably paid for the surgery, but that was I'll never financially recover from this. That was his only concern at the time. And then I love the way he presents it too. He goes up, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, we had an accident here. A worker put her arm in the cage and got her arm bit off by a tiger. If you'd like your money back or to come back at another time. Like, you don't say shit like that in the middle of the park to get rid of people. Like, say, everybody, there was an incident. Unfortunately, at this time, we're going to have to ask you guys to leave the park at this moment. You don't explain that someone's arm got ripped off when there's kids around and stuff. Around all these tigers you claim, oh, it's perfectly safe to be around here. Like, evidently not. Woo! So anyway, back to the cults. So this guy's got his drug-induced homicide. I want to talk about the other guy.
Okay.
I want to talk about the guy with the harem of women behind him and that long silvery locks that he's got going on.
Yeah, that's the guy you want to be.
Yeah, that's the guy you want to be! That's right! Now that's a guy that got it right. Surrounded by nothing but women holding these beautiful tigers all the time. I notice I didn't say beautiful women holding these tigers all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a harem of women, all just in love with it. See, like those other guys were so in love with the tigers and the drugs, they turned gay. These women were so in love with the tigers, they just fucking stuck around. You know, same shit.
They were so in love with the tigers that they got fucking boot job.
Now, what does that mean? Do you think there's something in our like ancient past where like if a woman in a tribe saw a man who had tamed a tiger, like obviously that's the alpha male that you want to surround yourself with, right? So maybe it's some sort of like instinct, a preservation instinct to be attracted to the people that have like the most aggressive animal tamed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's always been a czar or a king or what have you that would have like exotic animals from far places that could kill on command, or you throw them in with the gladiators, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a whole fucking danger factor on top of this is the guy that's taking care of you.
Yeah, man. It's so that, my friend, is how you start a cult.
Yeah, that's the guy you want to be.
That's the guy you want to be, yeah. So what again? Getting back to it, so we've rattled off 3 or 4 cults here, 2 of which big media, big murders. Other one, maybe a murder in there, don't know yet. Definitely a suicide. The Tiger King's hubby.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude's mom was cracked out too in that fucking video. Shit, she was cracked out. Anyway, where was I going with this?
Cool.
Okay, so when we're talking about cults, what I wanted to spin this into, which is, what are we in? We're in our first 15 minutes here. Yeah, we can spin this a little bit. When it comes to cults, who do you think is responsible? Is this happening naturally just because of easily influenced people and just particularly charismatic individuals that find themselves in a situation? Or do you think, is there more conspiracy behind it? And it's a government-influenced ideology that's instilled into individuals, whether it's using MK Ultra techniques or CIA techniques like they claim was done on Charles Manson, which helped him, which is what he did, right? He took sunshine ecstasy, distributed it, distributed it to his followers, to the family, and he would take either a small dose or not take any dose at all and start rambling on these ideologies that he wanted them all to co-opt. So that's why they were willing to kill for him and willing to bury bodies for years and nobody knew about it because they were all fucking drug-induced hypnosis, you know? The idea of this brainwashing that the CIA was doing was not to, was basically a personality change, to change their personality altogether, not to make somebody do what they wouldn't normally do, but to erase their personality altogether. And how do you do that? But by the same way that the military does, by breaking you down and then building you up using the terminology and the ideologies that they aspire. Like, your rock and roll individuality isn't what matters here, son. It's your obedience to the cause and your love of your country. You know what I mean? And so Charles Manson's saying the same thing to his followers, saying, hey man, it's not about your love of the country. It's about your love for what's right in our individual society. What are you going to do when Helter Skelter comes? You know, so he's espousing his ideology and making you feel good when you repeat that same thing while you're high and your endorphins are fucking flooding you. So when you're not high, all you crave is that high again, that feeling. And what do you associate that feeling with? But those ideologies. So that good, pure love, that warmth, that fucking meth, or I don't know what the fuck meth, I guess that cracks you. I don't know if there's any warmth with that. But that warmth that you can get from ecstasy or fucking that acid rush that you can feel, like you associate that with the exact ideology that they've been espousing, all while you think they're high, they're fucking clear as day trying to fucking get you to think it. So if we can associate these cults with CIA and MK Ultra, are these things that these individuals like Charles Manson and Jones, is it something they just picked up, or do you think it's something that they were taught?
It's it's certainly a behavioral pattern that they picked up. I don't know about Todd's, because you gotta look at how they were raised. It's usually the daddy's fault. Like,
Well, yeah, and usually they're
Yeah.
military men, you know.
yeah.
Like the idea was, I think there was a conspiracy about not Jimi Hendrix. Oh, Jimi Hendrix as well. Wasn't he a military brat too?
Yeah, he was a paratrooper.
Yeah. Well, no, his dad was military too. Like okay, if not Jimi Hendrix, for sure the Doors wasn't it?
Oh, Jim Morrison, yeah. His
Jim
dad
Morrison.
was a naval officer.
Yeah. So the whole thing was that he was put into so. All of these conspiracies, whenever it comes to the government, it always seems like there is a conspiracy to wipe out a certain portion of humanity. Right? Am I wrong there? So what would be the best way to do it but to get one person to brainwash an entire community and then have them all off themselves? Or do something so illegal that they're all put to death? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
cause such a riotous conflict that the only solution to the conflict, or the final resolution, would be a murder spree. In either them coming after the public, or the public coming after them, or the government coming after them, or them going after the government. Either way, you get a bunch of people dead.
Yeah, but don't the followers believe that it's not a fucking suicide by Kool-Aid, but it's more of a spiritual thing, like a fucking cleansing of whatever?
No, the followers were all about, they were going to catch a ride on like a comet, wasn't it? Wasn't that the whole thing? That they
Yeah, 'cause the
wanted
first-
to die when the comet was coming because then it was going to take them into ascension or whatever, into the next life.
Yeah, because the first thing that came to mind was that fucking King of the Hill fucking episode where it's like, fucking the aliens are coming and fucking, you know, we gotta drink the Kool-Aid to be ascended up to the
Yeah.
fucking aliens.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, so it's something similar to that. I mean, they have to get it from somewhere in order to make fun of it, right?
Fucking Dale. Yeah, fuck Dale, man. I tell you what, you didn't know fucking great, man. We always going to come back. Goddamn conspiracy, man. I don't understand that thing. Anyway, so what would you say if I told you that in 1994, let's say, around there, and then again in 2013, there was something put into place by the United Nations called Agenda 21, which has now been rebranded as Agenda 2030 or something like that, because now the projections are to have this all done by the year 2030. And the idea is that, well, here, that actually took some notes on, so let's touch on that. This will probably carry over to the
Send
next
me a
one.
PDF file as long as the Bible. I'm like, I'm not reading this
Oh, I'm
shit.
getting through. I'm gonna do a follow-up episode on this because this is I planned this whole episode out. This whole Jonestown
Yeah,
thing.
you were telling me.
I brought this all up because if you're gonna follow one conspiracy, then you have to believe them all in relation to that conspiracy. Because how can you justify believing one half of the story but not the other half? So Agenda 21 is this utopian idea that was basically revisited in 2013, first brought up in the 90s. It basically had like 17 points to it. It was basically to better the nutrition of the world, the sanitation, the health, energy, water, basically make it a utopia. Give everybody a job, give everybody enough money, clean water, clean air, make everything perfect by 2030. That's what we're hoping. Agenda 21 sounds perfect, sounds ideal. But there is a very dark part to it, where the theory is the only way to comply with an Agenda 21 kind of ideal is to eliminate the cause of a lot of these issues of pollution, water pollution, air pollution, overpopulation in cities. They want to condense humans into smaller areas if we can to allow the expanse of nature to reclaim the earth, All sounds great. But what happens when you need to do these things? People die. Whenever we're in do you see where I'm going with this at all?
Yeah, it reminded me of
Oh, yeah,
fucking
here,
Tim's
Tim.
line over here.
I don't want-
talking about fucking get out of the coast, and I'm like, would Tim say that? Because that's giving into fucking the whole everyone needs to be consolidated into one fucking small fucking not small area, but the one consolidated fucking group away from the coast because they're doing something to around the fucking coast, like that.
Well, we've got all the fires going on right now, which they claim could be. I mean, if again, this is gonna be the super conspiracy theory episode that I've been dying to do. That finally I found a way to get it all together in this one cohesive story. So you got the fires in California. You've got the volcano that just erupted. That was like a negative volcano because before it had erupted and collapsed. What was that one? Anyway.
The one in Mexico?
The recent one. Don't remember where it's from.
Okay.
So you have all these crazy things,
I
right?
think it was Greenland.
Now doesn't fucking matter.
Okay.
So now we've got this COVID-19 outbreak. Now, that was a great phrase here. Hold on. Man needs a catalyst to change, or else he remains as he is. Right? The country never changed once until we had a situation like 9/11. And that was just for our country. The last time we had a whole new world order was after World War II, when everybody was in the shits together. So if man needs a catalyst to change, and the UN has been planning this since the 90s, in 2013, and we've been talking about global warming, trying to get everybody to change their carbon output, getting everybody to change their carbon footprint, rather. So the UN's been planning this for 13 years. Now all of a sudden we have this worldwide catalyst to change humanity in the form of a virus. Do you think a worldwide epidemic such as COVID-19, whether it's a false flag event or not, obviously it's not a false flag because there are legitimate cases of it occurring. Supposedly, right? Because they're also coming with all these... So how serious are we about COVID-19? How do you feel about COVID-19?
I told my probation officer, I'm like, every year we get a new disease, so I'm not worried about it. And, well, fortunately, I haven't had to fucking worry about it because I'm fucking fine and dandy. I'm not gonna say healthy as a horse because I'm fucking...
There are some lame horses too, don't worry.
But, no. What the fuck was I saying? So,
Goodbye, Seabiscuit.
But what the fuck happened? No, I'm not too worried about it. We're fucking phasing out, so that's a good thing. I still think it's too soon. But then there's word circulating that it's gonna come back stronger in the fall.
Okay, I wanna run something by you.
Okay.
So in the past, the catalysts to humanity have gone, let's say, in this order. Correct me if you feel I've got it out of place. But we've had plagues before. We've had dictators before. In recent history, it was Hitler was a dictator. That was a catalyst for change for humanity at the time. We had that was way back. That was years ago. Okay. More recent, what did we have? Just a couple years ago was the aliens, the Area 51, was that last year?
Was gonna storm Area 51. I think it was.
Yeah, and it was a mass thing. Yeah. It was around the world. People were interested to see if we were actually going to storm Area, because everybody wants to know about aliens. Everybody around the world. We had to know. Are we finally going to figure out that we are not alone out there? That was a little bit of a catalyst that was getting people's attention and dander up, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah,
all
it
right.
was played off as a prank.
So step one. This is all within the last, how many years? When was that? When did that start?
What, the Area 51 was last year.
No, wasn't it a couple years ago?
It was last year. We were talking about it on the fucking pod.
Oh, okay. Well, then before that, we had softball diseases, you could say, that were corona.
Oh, okay.
In, what was it? Well, we've talked about it. It wasn't MERS.
It was the
MERS.
swine flu and the bird flu.
Swine flu, bird flu.
And SARS.
And SARS, yeah, because this coronavirus is actually, they're calling it SARS-2, because it's a deviation of the original SARS, apparently. It's like very, very similar, so they're calling it SARS-2. So we had those. Those were softball, and they didn't kill enough people. There wasn't enough panic about it. Not enough change. So we kept, and throughout all this, we're talking global warming, global warming, global warming. Have you heard a goddamn peep about global warming? Not yet. Not right now, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So, then we get to our Hitler. Maybe we can finally have a Hitler, but we can't have a Hitler without having a world war, right? It's not a catalyst enough, but we sure as fuck tried by hiring a guy with such fucking rambunctious speak as Trump to be our fucking president. Who everybody at the time of him running for office, even a lot of Republicans, were saying, no, this guy's talking like a Hitler, acting like a Hitler, saying fucking ridiculous things, but he had a groundswell movement of people that agreed with certain ideologies he espoused.
To be fair, every Republican candidate running for president or that gets the nominee is called Hitler.
Right, but every Democrat that gets the election gets called the Antichrist.
Right.
Right? Bush,
Yeah.
Obama.
Well, Obama, see, I thought you were going with Obama because he was so eloquent and he could convince the fucking masses.
No, well, yeah, that's more Antichrist. I feel like that's always the idea that, like, the Republican in charge is always a Hitler, the Democrat in charge is always, like, fucking, what did I just say?
Antichrist.
Antichrist. So now we've got a softball Hitler. All these softball versions of things that were catalysts in the past that America has been kind of trying and pushing for, you know what I mean? If you're gonna espouse this conspiracy theory and go full force in conspiracy theory mindset, I'm playing full Eddie Bravo today. So take a shot.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Take a shot. That was Rogan by association.
Yeah.
But I said the name now, so you can officially take it. Grab me a beer from the fridge. No. So now, if that's the case. If the government really has been trying to, and again, you can say that all of these agendas, false flags, calling, putting in power, what's it called? Segregating, a very segregating person, a person that causes so much conflict in power for us. What's my point here? Frank, help me out.
Divide and conquer? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, what it does is it starts getting everybody panicking.
Right.
And you're right, dividing and conquering. So when you have two factions, you end up, and no cohesive ideology and one leader to bring everybody together, but you split the factions. Very, very harsh dividing line that that we haven't had in a very long time. It's never been this much red and blue. Not this much of a divide. Am I wrong? I mean, it's always been there, but you've always had like the middle grounders, the people that were more on the fence. Now it's kind of one side or the other a lot of the time.
Yeah, because right now, fucking the antithesis to the Democrats' fucking socialist utopia is libertarianism. And a lot of fucking Republican elected officials are starting to swing libertarian, So I'm like,
but keep in mind, this starting to swing libertarian movement that we're seeing has been as recent as the last 6 months since the COVID-19 outbreak. It was so much more divided just 6 months ago, in my opinion. I think before the holidays came in 2019, I think there was nothing more divided than this country. I mean, for anything short of civil war, because we're basically in a sociological civil war with each other, just arguing our points over social media and news streams.
Yeah, that is the theory that we're on the verge of. We've been on the verge of the second civil war for a few years now, but now they're saying, or lately they've been saying, that the second civil war is going to be between the citizens and between the citizens. Fucking either you're fucking red or you're fucking blue.
Mm-hmm.
There's no in between.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the North and South again, as separate countries. I think the United States is too goddamn big to facilitate all these goddamn ideas. We're gonna start fracturing. That'll never happen, because nobody wants to diminish their lands. But it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we live in a city of Babel. I think there is no escape from what we are. Where there is no way we can put the genie back in the bottle. Pandora's out of the box.
Yeah.
We are at the junction where we are going to move forward at an exponential rate until we either run into a wall, fly off the earth into the stratosphere, or fucking bury ourselves under mountains of fucking deplorableness and evil deeds.
Yeah, you gotta keep in mind that the United States it's a fucking social experiment. So,
Everything's a social, life
you know,
is a social experiment,
if
man.
if we fuck it up,
We're all
then
experimenting.
that's it.
We're all experimenting with our day to day. So now that leads me into the question. So, conspiracy theories galore. It all requires people to believe that there is a faction of humanity that is in charge that is malevolent.
Mhm.
That there is no benevolent nature to their ideology. It's all about power and a new world order and controlling the masses. Do you think that is a fact? I mean, can you I feel like it's a very pessimistic nature to say that the people in power are intentionally exposing people to death and destruction and disease and poverty just to benefit their own nature. You know what I mean?
There's a quote by H.L. Mencken, fucking, I'm paraphrasing here, but, because I don't remember word for word, that the fucking grasp for power always comes disguised as fucking looking out for humanity.
Benevolence.
Yeah.
Benevolence, which is what this Agenda 21 is all about. So to recap what that was about, because we glossed over it a little bit to address the more culty side of it, but the idea of it, if you believe in the benevolent nature of people in power in the United Nations, and people like Greta Thunberg, even though her speeches apparently weren't even written by her, they were written by her dad and some fucking social justice fucking warrior kind of motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who is all about Greenpeace or whatever, nature and blah 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 blah. Forgive me, I don't know his name, and I don't know enough about it. So if I'm butchering who he is, my bad. I don't care. Point is, she was an actor. She was a child actor being exploited and being told and being handed a script. You know, it's not an individual with individual ideas as a child coming up to you. I was really impressed. I didn't agree with her. I didn't agree with her with the way she went about communicating, you know, after that initial speech she gave. I didn't agree with her boycotting school until we did something, like all that bullshit that she was, like, all the pageantry about it, couldn't stand it. But I appreciated the dictation. I appreciated her ability to construct a well-worded and well-thought-out speech. And it was just the rug pulled out from under all of it. It was just the wool being put over people's eyes, thinking, oh my God, our youth of today is actually thinking about this. No, they're not. They're just as fucking ignorant as we were as kids. You're going to have one out of every fucking 3 or 4 schools that thinks like that. Yes, maybe, fine, okay, give it to them. They're not going to be that well put together. Like, without adults constructing the ideologies, when you see that in schools, even when we were in school, the kids that were like that, it's because their teachers were motivating them through some fucking program that the school had, whether it be the treasury, the politics in school, the class presidency and all that shit, like, or Gear Up programs where you go out and you work with the community and shit. All of that is socialized ideology that's forced through to these kids. It's subconsciously, and it's not intentional. It's because these teachers are trying to do the best that they can for the people around them. Not realizing that you're not just raising these kids to be socially accepted and work socially together in school. These kids have to go out and compete with each other in the real world. And that socialism that you're taught in high school doesn't apply to college. It doesn't apply to the business world. Because it is a cutthroat industry where everybody is trying to outdo each other and make more money and market better and do all that. So the socializing is great for personal. Like, I feel like the socialist aspect of high schools and public schools right now, it is a good way for us to learn how to socialize with each other in large groups and how to communicate with ideologies that we don't necessarily espouse, or communicate with people that just you'll never agree with and never get along with and never understand. That's the importance of public schools and the way that it's set up. But as far as the education that they're providing, they don't teach you how to fight. They're teaching us how to pander to each other and work together in completely unrealistic ways. Because in the end, my company wants to merge with your company, but motherfucker, I want the better deal on that deal. I want that 60%. If there's going to be a 60-40 split, I'm going to get that 60. So how do you do that? I'm not going to work. I'm going to fucking work behind your back a little bit too, aren't I? You know, I'm going to make it look good for you, but it's going to be for... So, everything's a cult. This is my point. Anything coming out of the government-funded institutions like schools, government-exempt institutions like churches, it's all a cult. It's all a cult.
Yeah.
Last thing. Last thing I do want to say. Because man needs a catalyst to change. Unfortunately, and fortunately, I think that's true. I think man has the ability to change. That's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And 100% good. It's 100% good. Change is a good thing. It can be bad, but the ability to change away from that bad again is a good thing too, right? The problem is that oftentimes it needs a catalyst. So, back, who knows when, there was a man called Muzafer Sherif, and he did an experiment where he took some kids camping. Bunch of middle-aged white kids out into the woods, split them up into two groups. Let's call them Republican and Democratic. and Democrats. No, let's just call them red and blue. So that you got this red and blue team, right? Sets up games where they got to compete against each other. Their teams get real excited, they pump each other up. Then they get more aggressive as time goes on. They start raiding each other's camps, playing pranks on each other. Then they start fighting with each other. This is all throughout just by setting up competitive natured things. Anything like in life, when we set up businesses and people are competing for the better situation in their business. So he starts to experiment with that by telling the kids, hey, I need to talk to both of your groups. Come here. I'm sorry, the food truck isn't going to be able to make it to camp this week. We're not going to have food. We need to figure something out, guys. We'll get back to you. We'll let you know what we work out. Just hang tight. But for now, let's just see what we can do with what we got. All of a sudden, these two groups that were coming to a boiling point where they were fucking butting heads. They were really getting under each other's skin, saying, "No, we're better than you. You're better. You're shit. You guys suck. Y'all can't run as fast as y'all can't swim. Y'all can't do whatever bullshit kid stuff, right?" All of a sudden, these kids start communicating with each other like, "Well, I know how to build a fire. Well, check this out. I know how to make a sling if you take a sock and tie it up with some string. Like, I can make a badass sling to whip it, you know, like David and Goliath stuff, whatever."
Yeah.
I'm just making needless fucking
But the
shit
point
up now.
is there.
The point is there that these guys start to communicate with each other because there was a giant catalyst. It was either work together or fucking starve. So now, whether you believe the government did it, if you are the person that we have played along with today in this conspiracy theory podcast, if you believe that it was all a government conspiracy, can you argue with the man who did that experiment? Could you blame Mr. Sherif, Muzafer Sherif? Can you blame him for taking it upon himself to create this social experiment by giving them the catalyst to bring them together? If it was all a lie to begin with, but the end result was a unification of people that were at each other's throats, is it worth it?
Well, it's worth it if you're studying the fucking human mind.
Is it worth it? If the government is lying to all of us, and I'm not saying they are, this is just in respect to the conversation.
Okay.
What is wrong with the government lying to us if the end result is benevolent and 100% better for the community than if it hadn't been put in place in the first place?
Well, nothing is ever 100%, so I wouldn't say 100%.
It's a mental experiment. Yes or no? Is it worth it to be lied to for a better outcome for everyone, or to be told the truth and let the world tear itself apart?
Yeah, see, my instinct says no, but I'm like, in this fucking conversation, in this context, fucking, you know, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
just a mental experiment. If you're lied to, but you get $1 million at the end of being lied to, or would you rather be told, I love you, and get $1 million, but live the rest of your life with someone miserably, or would you rather be told, I love you, or I hate you, the truth, get $1 million and live with $1 million by yourself?
I prefer the truth always. But I get what you're saying though.
No, that was terrible. That was
No,
a really
but-
fun. I'm
yeah,
actually
yeah.
going to erase that from. I don't know where I was going with that one.
No, because you're saying like.
I'm just trying to find more ways
Is
to
it,
explain
is
this.
it worth it because you've discovered something about yourself
Yeah,
that
does
you
the
contribute
truth.
to the community? Right?
Sorry. Would you rather be told the truth and get no money, or be told a lie and get all the money?
Be told the truth and no money.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the problem we're having right now. I think that's where the go. That is why it would never work. That's why whether we're being lied to or told the truth, it doesn't matter. Humanity is going to continue to run the way it's being the way that it goes.
Yeah, there's always resistance.
In its natural. No matter the influence around us, we are all still individuals struggling with the duality within us. Whether we want to believe that being lied to for a better result in the end is worth it, or being told the truth for a worse result is more honest and noble. Is working your ass off to support your family more important than being home and barely getting by? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's the duality in every conversation we have. There's the yin and yang of everything. And so with that, I would like to say to everyone, be a free thinker, as our guests like to point out. Tim, Kim, vegan patriot out there. We got Jerry, we got Avonlea, we got Leonard, we got all of our guests here. We have them on, and we are all in consensus. If you disagree with us, hit us up. We'll do a Skype interview with you. We'd like to get everybody's opinion here, but so far, Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've had anybody that has completely shut their mind to one side or the other, because we can all understand the duality and complications of every situation.
Yeah,
if
we've all
we
been
really want
mature
to.
adults about our conversations.
If you're able to communicate with respect and not just argue your point,
Yeah.
you can learn a little bit.
Like, I see the validity in your point, but, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So that's where we're at. I don't know how to wrap that up. I was trying to come up with something a little more, I don't know, deep.
A little more out there.
A little, well, no, to end with. Yeah, the whole episode I think was a little fucking out there. That was fun though. I'm sorry I took over that whole episode, but I've been all week long. I had these notes going all week long at work, and here this morning I was working on them. This was a fun episode for me.
Yeah, you've been itching to get it all out.
Yeah, well, you know what it was? I was binge watching they've been binge listening those conspiracy guys with Gordo, so I'm shouting them out one more time. Fucking love you, man. Hope one day we can do a swap cast. We'll hit you up. So Frank, anything you want to tell the people? Any last words? Any final thoughts on this whole on whether it's cults or conspiracies?
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, I guess.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Check your sources. Love you guys. Frank, what do we tell the people?
Be excellent to each other.
And find you're happy. Peace out, lovers, brothers, sisters, and misters. Say bye, Frank.
Bye, Frank.